It was good, YouTube. I'm gonna be reacting to Andrew Tate's drill rap comment. Now I heard a little bit about this at the Piers Morgan interview, but let's hear about the hold on. I don't want to mess it up. Hold on. I want to hear the perspective of Black Speaks. Blackie or Black? Blackie Speaks. My bad, y'all. Let's go.
You have Lil Nas twerking on the devil. You have drill artists singing about stabbing people to death in the middle of a knife crime epidemic.
Now, I want to talk about these recent comments Andrew Tate made about drill rappers and Lil Nas X. He did this interview yesterday with a guy called Piers Morgan. The interviewer asked Andrew if all young men should aspire to be like him. He responded saying a couple things, but I want to more so focus on what he said on this part.
I mean, should young men, though, all aspire to be like you?
Should young men aspire to work very hard, have no criminal record, become multimillionaires, protect and provide for the women close to them, be sovereign so they can stand up and have their own points of view in face of cancellation?
And then he continued by saying this.
I'm certainly not the worst influence out here, Piers. You have Lil Nas twerking on the devil on music videos.
Oh, this is disgusting, bro. This is disgusting.
Drill artists singing about stabbing people to death in the middle of a knife crime epidemic.
So as you could hear, Lil Nas X caught a couple stray bullets, which he actually ended up responding to. I don't want to focus so much about what Andrew Tate is about in this video. Let's actually talk about what he said as it relates to rappers and Lil Nas X, because that's what we talk about on here. Let's start with Lil Nas X, because he got into it with some Andrew Tate.
I don't want to be looking at what this disgusting ass dude be doing, bro. I'm sorry, brother.
I'm gonna let you smash, loser.
Andrew Tate, please stop mentioning me. I am not gonna let you.
Andrew Tate fan responded to the tweet by saying, why would any sane human being want anything to do with a weirdo who thinks twerking on a devil in a music video is aesthetically appealing? People like you are the problem in this new society. Your mum, okay, because he's from the UK, carried you for 9 months to be a bitch. Lil Nas X.
It's just a mom, brother. It doesn't be a mom. You could just say mom, brother.
Clap back and responded to this by saying, no, people like you are the problem, while quote-unquote real men like me provide for their family and
You don't be a real man while deceiving people to thinking that doing stuff with the devil is okay. You don't be a real man when releasing up sneakers, having bloods at the bottom of the sneaker as a cool thing to be looked at. That is not what real men do. Real men advise for good advice. Real men do what's good for society. Real men provide without reaching to the point where it's starting to get disgusting. I can't call Pablo Escobar real man because he used to be provider for Medellin with drug money, with dirty money, with the blood money. I cannot be calling all these mafias in Italy and Russia and in all these parts of the world, or the mafia that's down to, like any place in the world. I cannot be calling them real men when they're providing for their family and they're destructing other parts of the society.
Community, niggas like you sit on Twitter using Andrew Tate's dick as a pacifier because you were never taught how to be your own man. Another Andrew Tate.
He didn't do nothing. Nah, bro, he didn't do nothing. Calling me is not gonna get you anywhere near closer to Andrew Tate tickling you.
Clapping back at him by
this
saying,
dude is crazy, bro.
F-A-G-G-O-T. Lil Nas X responded by saying, calling me a F-A-G-G-O-T is not gonna get you anywhere near closer to Andrew Tate tickling your gooch. Now, Andrew Tate brought up the Lil Nas X twerking on the devil thing during this conversation, essentially saying, hey, I'm not the worst thing out there. Look at this guy, Lil Nas X, who's doing a little dance on the devil.
Bro, I cannot be watching this, bro. Nah, I cannot be watching this.
Explicit period. I think anyone who's listening to this agree with me when I say that, and that obviously includes Lil Nas X twerking on a devil, okay? So Andrew Tate is not saying anything controversial. That's something we all know. With that being said, my question is, if your kids, hypothetically speaking, are watching Lil Nas X twerking on a devil, who should take the blame for that? Is it Lil Nas X, or is it the parents for doing an awful job at keeping their kids away from this explicit content? This new generation.
Okay. Look, I get frustrated when people be saying, if something is outside in the media, you as a parent should not be letting your child listening to it. Okay. If I'm a parent, which I'm not, I send my child to school. My kid is in school more than in school hours more than he's with me. If he's going out the house from 8 a.m. and coming back at 3 or at 4 or at 2, probably he's spending the majority of his time, the majority of his active time outside of my house, outside I'm not in the presence of that time. When you got people like this creep right here, this weirdo, that'll get in billboards and they will get on, in billboards on the street, and people will be talking about him. People will be, oh, you heard what Lil Nas X made? Oh, you heard what this doo ass rapper did? And it'll be deceiving stuff. It'll be satanic stuff like this. I won't be in the presence of that. I won't be telling my child not to watch that. I won't be telling my child not to hear, not to open his ears when his classmates be talking about all that shit, and he'd be like, oh, what are y'all talking about? Nah, that ain't how it work, bro. That ain't what role models is. That ain't what celebrity used to be. Celebrities back in the day. Look at Muhammad Ali. Look at the celebrities back then. I know that we had some dirty ass celebrities back then too. But what I'm trying to say is that celebrities, part of their roles is that why do celebrities smile all the time? Why do celebrities try to have a perfect life? Why do celebrities put their children in good schools, advocate for good stuff? If that was the case, Angelina Jolie wouldn't have held a big part in UNICEF and be outside rolling through the world, rolling through the globe, and helping poor people try to eat, appearing in front of the camera like she's a good woman. Nah. If that's how it works, if that's how people work, like all of these celebrities, somebody comes out as being a pedo, another guy comes out as being a dude that do some ancestor stuff, another guy comes out as being a Kabbalist, and people will be, hey, it's not my thing. You the parents, you decide what you make your children watch. Not that. Excuse me, y'all. That ain't how it used to be, and that ain't how it's gonna be. Celebrities are everywhere. I cannot control what my son look at if he's everywhere. He opens up the door and he's going through the highway and he looks at a billboard of a dude doing some stuff, some explicit stuff to Satan. I cannot stop my child to look at it. Even if I tell him, hey, that is not cool. That what? Am I going to be telling my child to look at the other side? If I tell him that, he's going to fight him on the other way. And if he didn't, he might want to know, hey, why is my dad telling me not to look over there? Let me just look. You feel me? That ain't how it works, brother. Nah, bro. You're way smarter than that. Think about it before you speak.
The fact that they give their children smartphones and they let them use that shit freely. And then they're surprised that their children are on the internet watching a bunch of explicit content that their young minds shouldn't see. If I had a son right now, which I don't, and I caught him watching a Lil Nas X video where he's doing a little dance on the devil, I wouldn't put the blame on Lil Nas X. I would put the blame on myself for not keeping my child away from that. If you give your children smartphones...
Okay, but what if the child saw him what he was going through downtown? Will you go to the mayor and tell him to put down that shit? Or will you open up Twitter, open up your account or your YouTube channel and say, hey, this is getting way too much. This is getting exponentially disgusting. Let's cancel these guys. Let's stop them from getting this mainstream media attention that we find them everywhere. Brother, look. I go outside right now. I'm not in the US. I bet you if Lil Nas X dropped something, because this guy usually gets the Billboard #1 every time because he's a puppet of the music industry. If this dude dropped the music right now and I go outside, I'm gonna be listening to people listening to it. I'm gonna be finding on Billboard. I'm gonna be finding at the screen of the gym. I'm gonna be finding it everywhere. Is that fair? Is that my job to stop is that my job how to parent my child? Nah. Yeah, I don't give my child a smartphone. Yeah, I don't talk about these certain topics with my child. But what if it's all around the globe? Everywhere you go, downtown, billboards, people talk about this shit. It's everywhere. What can I do? That ain't how it works, brother. Nah.
Smartphones and you don't monitor what they're doing on said smartphones, don't be surprised that your children are being raised by the same content that you're letting them consume. Everybody wants to absolve themselves of the responsibility they have as parents to raise their kids by putting the blame on things that are on the outside. Even in this generation where it's hard to keep your children away from things that they shouldn't see, the responsibility is always on the parents to make sure that your kids aren't seeing the shit that they shouldn't see. The second you start putting the responsibility on outside forces, what happens is you give those outside forces power. And now you think you're powerless in the parenting role of your child because you gave your power away to Lil Nas X. Now, as for his comments about drill rappers, he didn't really expand too much on that, but let me expand on it. Drill rappers make music talking about shooting, killing, popping perkies while they're at it. airing out the whole block, all that. This is obviously violence being discussed in the music and perpetrated in the streets that we don't need more of in the world. And for anyone who doesn't know, because you might be new here, that's what I've been talking about on here for the last 5 years. The responsibility drill rappers and just rappers in general holds is immense. Unfortunately, a lot of rappers, specifically street rappers, talk about these things and ignore the fact that they're influencing an entire generation of kids with their music. Now, here's one thing Andrew Tate didn't talk about, however. A lot of these drill rappers are actually kids themselves. It's a bunch of young kids, young black kids who came from impoverished communities. They grew up in extremely harsh conditions. The majority of them come from single mother households, so they don't have a father in their household. So they venture out into the streets searching for that guidance by seeking that validation and love they lack domestically. And so they start idolizing the gangbangers and dope boys, thinking that's what a real man is, because they obviously don't have a clue of what a real man looks like. So to them, the corner boys become their role models because that's what they've been surrounded by their entire lives. That's what we call being a product of your environment. Andrew Tate obviously didn't talk about this, and I think it's irresponsible because now you've demonized an entire subgenre of music on national television without bringing up the root cause of why these kids, the majority of them being young black kids, are perpetrating all this violence in the first place. You can't discuss drill rap without discussing why it exists in the first place is what I'm saying. It ain't as simple as they're talking about it just because. Drill rap is the direct result of a bunch of socioeconomic factors severely lacking in said communities. Income, education, employment, social factors come into play as well. This is the same reason why Eric Adams censoring drill rap was met with so much pushback. Here the mayor of New York is talking about censoring this music while completely ignoring why the music is a thing in the first place. Andrew Tate might have brought up a good point, but he completely failed to bring up the other aspects, which is the social and economic factors that lead to the manifestation of something like drill rap. How are you going to make a comment like this about an entire subgenre without talking about what's really going on in the community? To me, it doesn't make any sense, and it's also misleading. And I see this so much. People always throw dirt on hip-hop as a genre, but they never, for some reason, discuss what the content that's being discussed stems from. Drill rap, no matter what way you look at it, is a reflection of life. It's a reflection of what's going on in a lot of communities. The content that's being discussed might inherently be negative, but how can the problems be addressed if we don't talk about the core of why these kids are talking about what they're talking about? Anyway, any thoughts on this topic? Like we covered, Andrew Tate decided to diss rappers, specifically drill rappers, and Lil Nas X for twerking on the devil. The Lil Nas X should I look at and I say, just be present in your children's lives and actually monitor what they're consuming, and I promise you, your kids won't be exposed to Lil Nas X twerking on the devil. You're not doing you banking on the fact that a celebrity is going to act in the best interest of your children. And number two, who has the ultimate power? That's right, the parents. Anyway, any thoughts on this topic?
Any thoughts on this topic? Okay, I just kept quiet because I don't want to keep on pausing and pausing and pausing. I just wanted to leave it at the end of the video. Okay, look, check me out. You got, first of all, I spoke about the little sissy stuff. Like I said, he's everywhere. People are giving him mainstream media. You cannot stop mainstream media from entering your house. Either it's from other people mentioning it, or is it from billboards, or either from it's everywhere, like everywhere in the country that you're living in. I'm talking about, I'm not in the US. I'm outside the US and I'm seeing this guy everywhere, especially when he drops music. When he dropped his bloody shoe, his satanic shoe, it was everywhere, bro. In Africa, Europe, Asia, US, everywhere, brother. America, everywhere. You feel me? So that's a weak point, my guy. Second of all, we talking about the drill stuff. You said that it's right. They speak about some disgusting stuff that is not right, but at the same time, that's their reality. So instead of looking at what they're speaking about, we should look at the situation that they are in. Okay, fair point. And you said that these guys are kids themselves. But we can, at a certain point, we can understand that, like, let me tell you something. Fabio Foreign is 32 years old. He's the king of drill music in New York. That ain't no kid, brother. That is not no kid. At 32 years old is not a kid. And whether you lived in a bad circumstance or not, even if you did that, you'll still know that what you're doing is wrong or what you're doing is right. You going up and speaking about killing people. Once you pass being a kid, I'm gonna give you the excuse of you being a kid. Once you pass that age, you can understand that it's wrong and it's right, because most of these guys claim that they went to prison and they came out of prison. If you went to prison and you sat in front of a judge, you know that it's not right. What you're doing is not right, and you come outside and you know that what you're doing is not right. And most of the time, these rappers be out the hood and be coming back to the hood and be out the hood. Like if it was okay if he didn't think, if he just was like, hey, I'm just in the hood and I don't have no intellectual mind to think that what I'm doing is bad, he wouldn't have left the hood. He left the hood because it's bad for him, and he left the hood because it destroys his image. The Baby, Lil Durk, King Von, the Migos, all of them left their hoods. Why? Because it's bad for their image, and they only speak about their hoods with their music. Yet they speak about it in a disgusting black way, and by black I mean in a disgusting like dark way, that it'll destroy up their image, or destroy up the image for the young kids. And what is shocking is that people look at it as like that's art, that's music, that's what makes music good and all of that. Bro, that is not how music works, my guy. You are guiding young kids into violence that they didn't even think about, and making it something that it's like a hobby. It's like loving hearing all this violence, all these drugs, all this pimping, all of this bad stuff. The Baby is over 25. Lil Baby is over 25. King Von, when he died, he was over 25. 5-year foreign is like, he's an old head right now. So what? These are weak points. And a lot of people talking about the struggle in the US and the struggle in the hood, but you don't know what a struggle is until you come from a place like where I came from, where it's poverty everywhere. Poverty is everywhere. These guys in the US, bro, you got the American dream. You can hustle. You can make a project. You can make something. You can study. You can get outside your hood and try to do something outside of it. People, we still try to move to the US, even with inflation, even with all of that bullshit, because the US gives you a chance. The US makes something out of you if you work, if you put into work, if you got a project, if you got a business idea that you want to commit to, and it works, bro. You got all the money that you want. You feel me? So no, these rappers are not only kids, bro. They are grown. They got intellectual minds, and they know that what they're doing is wrong, but they speak about it because it sounds cool. It sounds cool. That's why they speak about it. You feel me? They speak about selling drugs. Is that cool, brother? Is that what is that? Don't they know what's bad for them? Didn't they go to prison because they started selling drugs? Look at the time that we are in, bro. We are turning to the Pablo Escobar era, bro. But it's not cocaine no more. It's weed. Weed is everywhere. What influenced weed at the time of Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg? What influenced it? Didn't these rappers influence it, bro? And now we're in a generation that's all the generation is lacking. Everybody wants to kick back and start smoking weed. Nobody wants to be in reality no more. What do you blame it? What do you blame that on? I blame that on music. I blame it on art. Art. That's what I blame it on. The art that destroyed, the art that gave us weed and strip clubs into being a social cool thing to be at. People celebrate their birthdays at strip clubs at the time of them having wives and having girlfriends. Nah, bro, that's disgusting. That ain't how it's supposed to be, brother. That ain't how. Come on now. Hey, bro. Either way, I spoke a lot about this topic. I hope I didn't blow your head. I hope I didn't smoke your head with all the talking that I did. But yeah. Hope y'all have a good day, bro. See you next time. Peace out.